In this video, we're going to cover all the need-to-know stuff for agents that are completely new to the Division 2, and with our new expansion, Warlords of New York, we're heading back to the Big Apple, so let's make sure you're ready to hit the ground running.
Agent, name's Kelso. I'm your backup from DC. Hope I'm not too late.
Now, if you're anything like me, you'll probably want to take a quick look at the options menu, find the controls for your appropriate platform, and refer back to it if you're ever stuck with knowing what to press to get the desired result. Found it? Nice. Let's get stuck in. At its core, the Division 2 is a cover-based third-person shooter, and knowing how to use cover and handle your weapons are the first things on our list for today. Here, we're going to take some cover where you can also move back and forth. Then, if we aim, we'll be ready to fire on our target. Once you stop aiming, you'll also pop back into cover, which is nice for when you need to reload, apply an armor kit, deploy a skill, or just to take yourself out of the line of fire to plan your next action. Now from here, we could perform a cover-to-cover move by holding down the button that you'll see pop up as a prompt on your UI, or you could leave the cover by pressing the button that attached you to the cover in the first place. Just as a quick side note, it's always nice to remember that grenades can be thrown from behind cover, so keep an eye out for the right opportunity. Next up, let's take a look at identifying enemies. Of course, if they're shooting you, punching you, running at you with bats, shooting flames at you, and generally being not very nice, then that's usually a good sign that they aren't your friend. But what if you want to be more tactical with your approach? Here, the minimap is going to be your friend. Pay attention to the red indicators for the direction of potential threats, and start assessing the field for your next target. Enemies have different types of health bars, which will give you an indication of how difficult they'll be to take down. Red bar enemies don't have any armor you'll need to worry about, but elite enemies will pose a different challenge with an armor bar that you can see here. This armor bar will need to be depleted before you can damage their health pool and take them out. You could get through the Division 2 without worrying about enemy weak points, but you'd be making things way harder on yourself. So here's what you need to know. Usually, enemies will have a weak point that is simple to identify. Gas tanks, ammo pouches, things like that. Now, if you see this indication in your UI, congratulations, you've found a weak point. And doing enough damage to it will trigger a reaction that'll make the enemy way easier to take down. Combat in the Division 2 wouldn't be complete without some skills, and as an agent, you'll be able to equip 2 skills, provided that you've acquired them at the base of operations or at Haven by spending the shade tech that you've found out in the world.
There.
If you've boosted your character straight to level 30, that's not something you'll need to worry about though, since all of the skills will automatically be unlocked. Each skill acts a little differently depending on the type of role that you want to play. Are you a lone wolf looking for a bit of assurance? Maybe the revive hive is for you. Do you want a robo friend to shoot things for you and keep you company when the bullets start flying? Maybe the turret will be your go-to. Regardless of what you choose, it's always a good idea to play around with your new skills before you reach an engagement, so that you're comfortable with how to deploy them. Some skills will require targeting. Some can be dropped at your feet with a double tap of the appropriate button, and others will just be super nice and follow you around. Remember, you can switch skills at any time, provided that you're not in combat. You're also going to need to know about armor kits if you want to stay alive, but the good news is that it's pretty simple. See this armor bar? If it gets depleted, any damage you take will start lowering your health, and we don't want that. So just hold down the appropriate button until the armor kit is applied, and you'll be good to go again.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
And as I mentioned before, this is one of those things you'll probably want to do behind cover, or somewhere you're not actively taking damage. Once you hit level 30, which you may elect to do if you own the Warlords of New York expansion as soon as you enter the Division 2 for the first time, you'll also have access to specializations. You can choose or change your specialization at the base of operations in DC or at the Haven in New York.
I know you like to burn stuff. It should make you happy.
I said before that the Division 2 is a cover-based shooter, but we didn't really talk about the core thing that drives it, the loot. In our new expansion, it's easier than ever before to identify items of value. Just check the stats here and you'll be able to see how close it is to its maximum possible roll, and if a particular stat is maxed out, you'll see it highlighted. Congratulations, you might want to hold on to that one. Okay, so before we wrap up here, it's worth noting that if you're having any trouble with a mission or activity in the game, then you're almost certain to have the ability to adjust the difficulty for that content. Just check on the map or the mission selection for these types of options, and of course, you can always matchmake to group up with other agents to take on things as a team, or you can call for backup when you're in need of a helping hand.
Backup request sent.
The Division 2 is a deep, tactical experience that can't be covered in just one video, but the good news is there's a huge community of awesome agents out there in DC and New York that'll be just as excited as we are to bring you into the fold. Welcome, and good luck out there.
Calling all agents. This is Agent Faye Lau requesting immediate reinforcements at City Hall.
This is Kelso.